Unfortunately, you're going to have to look at me for the next 60 or 70 minutes. That's me wearing a pair of earrings from an online jewellery site in Australia. What I would like you to take from my presentation today is insight. I would like to inspire you. If you aren't already inspired, I'm sure you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Might be slightly provoking. I'm going to talk about where we are, where we're going, and what I think the best routes are to get there around e-commerce and multi-channel retailing. And I might also be mildly entertaining, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Questions at the end, if you don't mind. I'm going to be here most of the day, so I'm more than happy to take questions off people throughout the course of the day. I'm sure we'll have some time at the end of my presentation to do so. So what gives me the right to stand in front of you good Greek people and anyone else that happens to have travelled here today? So a little bit about me. I've been selling online for 16 years, so I started in the mid-90s, so I am what you would call an early adopter. I've lost quite a lot of money, and now I'm starting to make a bit of money, which is good news. I run a consulting business called Practicology, but I really think of myself as a retailer, and that's the core value proposition of our business. I'm going to talk about us in a minute. I've had the responsibility for profit and loss for the likes of Harrods, Burberry, Ted Baker, Intershop, Pentland Brands, and I now sit on the advisory board of a company called Wiggle. Anybody into cycling here? I don't know if anybody's bought from Wiggle. Anybody know Wiggle? One or two hands? Yeah, good stuff. All right, so clearly they've got an opportunity to do a better job of penetrating the Greek market. Not a lot of brand awareness. They are one of the largest online cycling businesses in the world, doing about £150 million online. I judge the PayPal e-tail awards in the UK. I also judge the online awards of Australia. I provide thought leadership to different titles, including Retail Week and The Times in the UK. I chair the Retail Week e-commerce conference and have done for the last couple of years. I chair the Retail Systems multi-channel conference and have done for the last 4 years. I'm listed on Retail Week's top 50 power list of the most influential people in online retailing. Now, all of that sounds amazing, doesn't it? But it comes at a cost, because it makes you good people think that I have all the answers. If I had all the answers, I'd be sitting there. Do you really think I'd have schlepped over to Greece and got about 4 hours sleep last night before I presented to you? No, I wouldn't. So I have some of the answers, but clearly not all of them. Now, this is a shameless plug. I don't know if the humour translates, but I'm now going to do a shameless plug about my business, Practicology, because obviously we would like to do some business with Greek retailers. We are one of the fastest growing e-commerce and multi-channel consulting businesses, and that's because we've all been at the coalface. So again, I don't know if this humour translates or not. This is us all maxed up as coal miners. So the expression in the UK means we're at the coalface, we've been there, we've done it, and we actually continue to do it. And this is just some of the brands that myself and my team have run the online channel for. We're very much focused on clients' profit. And the good news is, because we're all retailers and we've scaled multiple online businesses, we have a lot of data at our fingertips, so we know what it takes to do that and to deliver a return on investment, and we're a good bunch. Good to know that my humour is still working well. We have 3 buckets of services, so very quickly, what do? One is trading, so we actually run the online channel for some of our clients, so we do all the customer acquisition marketing, retention marketing, conversion rate optimization, produce content, etc. So we basically run it day in, day out. Consulting, we help people find technology. We help them find new platforms. We help them find ERP, CRM solutions. We do a lot of work with our clients around their roadmap. Most retailers in the UK, even today, although the market's quite mature, if you ask them what their objective is for their online business, I tend to get 2 answers. The first is, I want it to be my biggest store, and the second is, I want it to be 20% of my business. To the first, I say, well, if you're only aiming for it to be your biggest store, that's probably not a good benchmark, because it might be 20 times the size of your biggest store. And how did you arrive at an objective of you wanting it to be 20% of your business? And usually it's not much more than that. Or I went out to dinner with the chief executive of Ted Baker, and he's already doing 14%, and I'm only doing 11. So I think I should be doing 20. So we help retailers really plan what the scope of opportunity is and how they're going to get there. And we deliver a load of agency-type services around marketing, design, and conversion rate optimization to help them do that. Here are some of our clients. You will notice that there is an obvious omission from that list of clients. and that is we do not have any Greek retailers on there. So anyone that's interested, please do see me at some point during the day. Right, that's enough about us. You really cannot afford to take your eye off the ball because things are moving so quickly in this space. And the key challenge that you have as your market is starting to really emerge now online and consumers are starting to spend money online and are adopting the multi-channel model is not just to think about what you're doing today or next year, but it's really to think about how are your customers likely to be engaging with you over the next 5 years. Because if all you do now is plan for the next 2 years, by the time you've implemented click and collect or you've implemented a mobile strategy, you'll already be behind your competition. So today I'm going to show you all the things I think you need to think about now, as well as all the things that I think you need to plan for in terms of how consumer behavior is changing. I'm just going to show you a very short video, which is quite an interesting take on how things have evolved and how some very notable people have got some stats very badly wrong over the last few years. What did Bill Gates know, eh? Something, a video from eBay, something sad, isn't it, about the fact that more mobile phones are sold every day than babies born around the world, but that's the world we live in. A couple of takeaways from that, from in terms of emerging markets. So at the moment, you're probably very much focused on Greece and the domestic market, but you have an opportunity to internationalize. We're working with our clients at the moment to help them understand how to get the most out of China, because China in a year's time will be bigger than the United States in terms of online, in terms of e-commerce, so it's a fantastic opportunity. And I think, I'm going to talk about it later, but I think you also have an opportunity right on your doorstep. Turkey. I know you have a bit of a love-hate relationship there, but big market, Massive population, I think nearly 80 million, similar to Germany, and half the population under 40 years of age. Early adopters using the web like fashion. So anyone in fashion, I'd be thinking about, if I had more time in my hands, I'd probably be building an online fashion business in Turkey. Back to the here and now. Don't we just love jargon? So we all like using TLAs, three-letter acronyms, and a whole load of jargon in the industry in which we work. And you really need to try to ignore the bullshit and focus on the things that really matter. Pardon my French. So, to give you an example of all the terms that are kicking around just in relation to the industry in which we are all working. So some call it e-commerce, some call it e-business, as we do today. Some call it e-tail, some call it e-tailing, some even call it e-tailment. I presented a keynote in Berlin in October last year. I've never heard of e-tailment before, so that's a new one to me. It must be the merging of fulfillment and online retailing. Some call it m-commerce for mobile commerce. Some call it multi-channel. Some call it multiple channels. Other people call it multi-channel integration. I've heard that term kicking around for the last 20 years. Some call it omni-channel. And a friend of mine has the illustrious job title of God. So we've been waiting 2,000 years, and all of a sudden God has come and joined us already, again in the year 2013, because he's the Group Omni-Channel Director, GOD, at Aurora Fashions. His name's Ish Patel, and he's just landed probably the best job in the world in online retailing, because he's now going to Victoria's Secrets in the United States to be the global VP of e-commerce. How good is that? I'm presenting at shop.org in September, and I'm going to meet him early October, and I said to him to make sure that there's a photo shoot on when I arrive. Anyway, enough of that. Customers don't see channels. So really that's what I'm trying to say with regards to all those other terminologies. Customers don't care about all that. We care about it in the industry. It means nothing to customers. They don't see channels, they only see experiences. And I'm going to talk about the most important aspects to that in a minute. So the things that really matter are letting customers shop how they want to. So if you're sitting there right now thinking about what am I going to do with online and multi-channel in my business over the next few years, you need to be thinking about how are my customers going to engage with me? How do they want to engage with me now? And what's that going to look like in 3 years and then in 5 years' time? And you need to re-engineer your business in order to deliver that experience. That is the key success factor number one. If you don't start with the customer and their journey, you are doomed to not necessarily failure, but you'll never really optimize or maximize the opportunity. So that used to be the old retail driver. The old retail driver used to be location, location, location. In this case, Dunkin' Donuts opened a store next to the Massachusetts State Police Office. I'm not really sure why. I'm assuming that when people came out after having been arrested, they fancied a donut, or maybe they were having a donut before they went to jail. I'm not sure. But anyway, the point is you would open up somewhere where you thought you would generate enough footfall to really make it worth your while. That doesn't work anymore, because the new retail driver is about convenience, convenience, convenience. If you think back to the mid-1990s, in retail, the consumer had very little choice. They had your retail stores. They may have had a catalogue that they could buy from. They didn't have call centres, only really in financial services, not in retail. And they certainly didn't have the internet. They had the internet, but in 1995 there was nothing available to buy, and the experience was so rubbish, and no one was online. So really now everything's changed. There's so much choice at the customer's fingertip. And that's why the whole convenience factor is so important. And I'm going to talk about in more detail as I go on what that means. At a high level, it means buying from the channel of choice. So as a consumer, I want to decide whether I buy from your store, whether I buy from your website, whether I buy from your catalogue, or whether I phone your call centre to place an order with your customer service team. I want to decide where I return my goods to. I want to decide to return them to your store, return them to your warehouse, and I absolutely do not want to have to pay to return my goods. If you want to charge me to return my goods to you, the question is, why would I buy from you online? Why would I not then buy offline? Or why would I not buy from someone else who was going to make it free and easy for me to return my goods? I want to have my order delivered and fulfilled at the place of my choice. So that means my work, that means my home, that means your stores. And that's why click and collect is becoming really popular, because people really like, and I'll talk about that, they like the convenience of knowing something is going to be there and coming and picking it up in the store. And they want it fulfilled at the time of their choosing. So I don't know what it's like in Greece at the minute, but I do know that in the UK, customers are no longer prepared to sit there from 9 o'clock until midday, not knowing when their order is going to turn up. Why would you do that? Why would you waste your time doing that? So retailers have found new ways of helping fulfill the customer's demand much quicker. If you were a gift buyer, you want to know that I can have my order gift wrapped and all the other propositions around that. So why is all of that important? Well, that's all important, and actually I think this is quite good because I think they almost look Greek, don't they? Probably look more Greek than English. They've got a suntan anyway, which is a good start. So these customers might well buy online from you. They are, my guess is, probably in their early 60s, late 50s, early 60s, and they may well be adopters of the web now. In the UK, very interestingly, over Christmas of 2012, 2013, the customer age segment of people over the age of 55 bought as many products on the internet. They accounted for the same level of sales as customers in the age group of 18 to 35. So the late majority, the older customers, are very much buying online now. These customers, however, might not. They're in their 70s, and they might not buy online. And therefore, they might prefer buying over the phone. So if you don't give them the opportunity to do that, the chances are you might have lost their demand. These customers want to know, will my bum look big in this? So I bought these pair of jeans, I bought that skirt, you know, what do I look like? You'd be amazed at some of the conversations that go on when customers engage with live chat. So I don't know if any of you have ever done that, live chat on a fashion site. When I was at Ted Baker, I implemented it and everybody told me I was mad. Why would people want to talk to customer service advisors, you know, on live chat? Why would they want to engage with them about fashion? Because they want to know, well, I look good in this. This is what I look like. They're not showing a picture, but they're telling you what you look like, what they look like. And they're going to a wedding and they're buying a dress or they're buying a suit. And they want your reassurance of whether they're going to look good in it, just as they would do if they walked into your store and engaged with your sales associates. This guy, he's pretty task-rich, time-poor, a bit like me. Busy, 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 click and collect. That's the job for him because he's got 5 minutes to place the order during his morning break, and he wants to make sure that that's available in John Lewis to pick up as and when he wants to do it. So that's all about letting the customer and different types of customers engage and shop the way that they want to engage with you. Next key success factor is some other stuff that retailers are doing to deliver that. So Apple started this. Apple started the whole concept of taking the till to the customer. So if you go into an Apple store, yes, you can go to different, you can probably go to some fixed till points in the store, but most of the till points are walking around the store with the sales advisors. And that's fantastic. Now, just the other week in London, I walked out of a Bershka store because I spent a bit of time trying to buy something. I then went to the checkout and there was like 20 people in front of me. And I thought, well, I'm not waiting here for 20 minutes or half an hour to place my order because I don't have enough time. And I basically abandoned my basket and walked out of the store. And that's what customers do in the online world as well. In the retail world, if you've got an iPad and you can take that with a sales associate straight to the customer, you can take their order, you can take their payment there and then, and you can get that order through the till. And that's cheaper than also fixed tills, 25% cheaper. So lots of retailers are doing that in the UK now. Lots of retailers are also implementing kiosks, or what we call the endless aisle. So Debenhams have, for example, lots of different size of store. Does everybody know Debenhams? Pretty large department store in the UK. Thanks. You know, they're a couple of 100,000 square feet. Huge business. For them to open up a new store somewhere, or House of Fraser, who are a client of ours, is an enormous consideration. So what they're doing is, even where they have a small store, they're implementing this kiosk and saying to the customers, you can order from this much bigger catalogue. Even though we might not have this suit hanging up, you can still buy it. And that is encouraging customers in the smaller stores. So basically they're driving they've got 500% more SKUs in the smaller stores, and in the larger stores they're still able to offer an additional third or 30% of additional products. So they're extending the range. And in the last 18 months, in-store kiosks have helped them generate an additional incremental £100 million plus of revenue. So there's a real opportunity there. If you have a bricks and mortar store, you're limited by your shelf space. Why would you limit yourself? Why wouldn't you tell your customers that you've got a broader catalogue of products that they can buy from, either online that you can then ship to them, or they can come and pick it up the next day? And House of Fraser, they've been implementing order points. So again, I have no idea how much it would cost for House of Fraser to open a new store of 200,000 square feet. Many millions of pounds. So instead what they're doing is they're going into new towns. They're opening up this little thing here, which is just 1,000 square feet, maybe even, or sorry, you probably do meters. Let's say it's 100 square meters or thereabouts. And all they have is order points. So they have iPads and they have kiosks, and the customer can browse through the catalogue and place an order, and then they can choose to have it delivered to their house, or they can come in and pick up the next day. Isn't that brilliant? And that's enabling them to extend their reach in towns where they don't have stores at a fraction of the cost of what it would be to open a full-size new store. Selfridges in London, if anyone's been there, shouldn't say this because I'm not a client, but I love this store. Selfridges in Oxford Street, probably my favourite store in the world. They are implementing click and collect and a drive-through next year. Now, I have no idea where they're going to do that because there isn't exactly a lot of space around the Selfridges store for anyone that's been there. But wealthy customers are going to be able to click and collect, drive up, or have their chauffeurs drive up and give them a token, and they come back with the order that they've placed online. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. There is a halo effect. So there is a positive thing. So you're not, people still worry when you're new to the web, you worry about cannibalization. If I take sales online, am I taking sales away from my store? And I still hear this in the UK. I promise you, you are not. So let me give you some stats from John Lewis. You may have seen some of these before. 2/3 of their customers, 63% of their customers, are researching online before buying in store. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the store, the website, is the biggest driver of sales in their store. 2/3 of their customers are searching on the website first before they even set foot in one of their stores. 89% who buy online also shop in store. Great. So online customers come in and also buy in store, and they also spend more money when they come in store. 1/3 of their customers, or 35%, pick up their goods in store. That's click and collect. M&S is at 40%, and House of Fraser at the moment around about 33%. And in a minute, I'll talk about why consumers are choosing to do that. But this is interesting. Click and collect continues to grow at twice the rate of people ordering to have it delivered to their house. So in other words, for every 100 people that come to the website, let's say they sell to 4 of them and have a conversion rate of 4%. I'll have to do the maths now. That's probably not going to work. Let's say they sell to 6 of them. 2 of them are choosing to have it ordered, ordering it and having it delivered to their house. 4 of them are ordering it to pick up in a John Lewis store. 1/3 of customers researched offline before they then went and bought online. Multi-channel customers spend 3.5 times as much as a single-channel customer. Mobile drives 6 million visits now to their website. That's quite phenomenal. And somebody recently bought a £3,000 bed through mobile. Why anybody would spend £3,000 on a bed? That's about, what, €4,000 or something? I have no idea. I'm Scottish, as I've probably told you. If I was spending that much money on a bed, I'd expect somebody to come with it. Multi-channel customers are twice as loyal. So these are just some of the indicators that there's a massive opportunity when you start to let customers choose how they shop and engage. It has a phenomenal commercial benefit to your business. So why does click and collect drive so many sales? I hear you asking. Number of reasons. First of all, you know your goods are there. So there's no debate, there's no debate. If you're ordering online, you've still got that little niggle in your head about different things. If you're clicking and collecting, as a retailer, I've told you my goods are there. Your goods are there, so you know when you come in the door, you're going to be able to pick them up. You don't have to worry about what happens if you're not at home when the goods are delivered. So again, depending on the courier proposition that the retailer has, I don't have to worry about if they try to deliver to me and I'm not there, what happens? How many times do they card me? Do I have to schlep to my nearest town 10 miles away to pick up my goods? Do I have to take time off work again to be there? People are thinking about all those things when they're buying online. You don't have to worry about what happens if you have to return your goods. You don't have to pay for delivery. And if it's fashion, you can walk into the store, you can try something on, you can change your mind if it's not the right size, or you don't like it, and you can exchange it for something else. You might well be working near that store. Lots of offices. And this is really interesting, because what's happening in the UK at the minute? is that lots of retailers are closing their poorer performing stores. But they're doing it without thinking about, well, if I implemented click and collect, I've got a lot of offices nearby me. Maybe all of a sudden those stores would become profitable because consumers would choose to come and pick up their goods, whereas at the minute they don't bother coming into the store. So there's lots of opportunities around it, but that drives convenience. So that's about convenience, convenience, convenience. The next key success factor is about customer service and advice. And unfortunately, too many retailers think because it's the web, we don't need a call center. We don't need a phone number. People don't want to talk to human beings. They're on the internet. Well, actually, they do. I've already showed you some customers who definitely want to talk to human beings, and there are lots of people much younger than them who would also benefit from that. So because it's online doesn't mean that you don't need a call center, doesn't mean that you don't need a customer service number. Let me call you if that's how I want to engage with you. Customer service is a sales driver, not just a channel for resolving problems. When I landed at Ted Baker in 2007, I went to my customer service team, which was situated above our store, and we had about 8 or 9 people there answering emails and calls, and I said to them, you know, how many sales opportunities do we get every day? Not many. 1, 2, maybe. You know, they get hundreds of calls and emails every day. So I said, look, here's a spreadsheet. Take a note of what everybody's contacting us for, and I'll come back in 2 weeks, and you tell me what the reasons are that people are getting in touch. So I went back in 2 weeks. I sat down with the customer service manager, and I said, walk me through this massive spreadsheet and tell me how many of these were sales opportunities. No problem, no refund, no. Oh, maybe. You know, and again, it was literally 2 or 3 sales opportunities out of over 1,000 customer contacts. And I said, don't you think every single contact with the customer is a sales opportunity? So really, that's where I'm coming at with regards to customer service. John Lewis. Everyone holds John Lewis up as the bastions of fantastic best practice multi-channel retail in the UK. Can I see a call center number on that homepage? No, I can't. I might be inclined to drill into customer service to see if there's something there, or I might not. Debenhams. Debenhams have a pretty good help section, quite nicely designed, lots of great information. I couldn't find a phone number in there anywhere. Now you might be able to, but I couldn't find one. This is a small pure play internet only business in Australia. Kitchenware Direct. 2 things that they highlight on if you look here. Shop by brand and customer service. So the minute you land on that website, you know what their focus is. You know they are a customer-centric business. Look at that. Lovely young lady I'd like to take out for a drink sometime. A little bit of information about the business and its heritage. They've been around since 1992, retailing. There's customer testimonials, online help, FAQs, so everything I need to know about shipping and returns, and a free phone telephone number, the hours the call centre's open, or you can email us, or you can talk to us through live chat. Spot the difference. Spot the difference. So, my challenge to you is, please go back to your businesses tomorrow and think about this. If you were a customer service business that happened to sell electrical products, or happened to sell heating and plumbing services, or happened to sell, apparel and footwear, or whatever it is you sell, how would you talk to your customers differently? How would you engage with them differently? What would you do that was different in the whole journey and experience? And I bet you'd find you do almost everything slightly differently. So please take that away and have a think about that. The next is about usability, and the experience online should be very similar to the experience offline. When retailers go online for the first time, they overcomplicate really what the experience is. And really what you're trying to do is you're trying to replicate what it would be like for somebody to walk into a store. What sort of help and support would they get from a store sales assistant versus how do you deliver that online? This is Paul Smith, a brand that I always have fun poking fun at. Very successful business, massively successful, brilliant brand, but by crikey, their website is just not great and has so many usability issues. Now, you might look at that and think that's not too bad, but I can pick holes in 10, 12 different things here and tell you why customers will abandon. Lots of reasons. First of all, I'm not really clear on how many steps there are. Basket, your details, and thank you. Oh, do you not want to take any money from me? So I'm kind of normally expecting to pay for my goods and have some information about delivery. So I'm a bit ambiguous about that. I think just the general design isn't great. There's a lot of text. The call to action buttons are a bit hidden. If you have more than one item in the bag, these drop below the fold. So you might lose some customers there. And I think the flow of the information behind promotional codes, or enter a promotional code in delivery and everything, isn't great. So when you actually select, choose, you select this button here that says tell me about delivery. I'll show you what that says. We will update your delivery cost to reflect the cost of shipping to your delivery country at the checkout. The following table gives you details of what your order will cost at various parts of the world. That's fine. Down here, please note, well, first of all, allow 2 to 3 days for shipment. Is that all around the world? I doubt it. Is that in the UK? Not really sure. Is that business days? Don't really know. Please note you will be responsible for any import duties, clearance fees, and any other additional charges. Bye then. Right? I'm pretty sure most people that click that and read that are off that site before you know it. This is their checkout. Again, bit of ambiguity around how many stages there are. They have tried to implement a guest checkout, but there's quite a lot going on here. So down here, these are all the steps that I've got to go through, which are actually different to the ones up here. And they're also communicated here. You can hardly see that in the checkout progress. There's a whole lot of social stuff going on there. You know, it's just a bit noisy. And quite a lot of customers will get to that page and go, oh, I just don't know, can't be bothered. So what I'm going to do now is show you a video from Google, which some of you might have seen, but it makes me laugh every time, because it's a great example of if you took some of the issues that I've just shown you and put them into the offline world. So if you reverse engineered it of what that might look like. So if we can just show that video now, please. Yep.
Hey, just that, thanks.
You sure?
Yeah.
Username?
Oh, Nick M?
No.
NM1983?
No.
Zandy Pops?
Sorry.
Zandy Pops?
No, okay. Don't worry, I'll help. What's your postcode?
Oh, it's GU749ZT.
Welcome back, Nick Forever.
Okay.
Please listen carefully to this bread license agreement before continuing with your purchase of a loaf of bread. If you do not, blah, blah, blah. You also agree not to use any bread-based product for any purposes prohibited by United Kingdom law, including without limitation, design, development, manufacture of missiles, chemical, nuclear or biological weapons.
Tick.
I'm afraid you've timed out.
What? Sorry. Hello? Excuse me. Oh, yeah, hey.
Just one loaf, sir.
Yeah, we just...
What's your username?
It's Nick Forever, but number 4, not the...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to check that you're a real person. Could you say that for me?
It's not even a word.
Okay, how about this one?
You know what, forget it.
This one?
Hippopotamus.
You're in.
Great, I'm in.
£8.85.
It's supposed to be 98 pence.
Plus express delivery.
What's that?
Oh, well, it's express delivery. It's fast. So there's, standard. Standard delivery, that's £4.99.
Why?
Bread insurance. You didn't untick the don't decline bread insurance option.
You know what, I think I'll risk it.
It is quite close to the sell-by date.
Don't care.
98 pence it is. If you want to pop back in 5 business days, it'll be ready for your collection.
Well, I need it now, obviously.
Oh, okay. You want the take-home today price? Well, that's £3.27.
You know what, I'm going to go.
Come back soon.
I won't.
Isn't that funny? So, but that is like real life. I'm just going to show you now how ASOS, some of you know ASOS? ASOS are the largest, I think pretty sure they're now the largest sort of pure play fashion business globally. Will shortly be breaking through the £1 billion online, or 1.3 billion euros online. They're getting quite close to that. They managed to persuade an additional 50% of customers to move from one stage of the checkout to the next by making one pretty simple change. So have a look at this. That's what it used to look like. So they did some split testing. So they didn't just change it. They decided to show some different offers to customers to decide what worked best. So you used to have a login here for existing customers, forgotten your password, or over here, new customer. By creating an account at ASOS.com, you'll be able to shop faster, keep track of the status of your orders, and take part in ASOS Life. Pretty simple. Create your account. Change it to that. New to ASOS? Click this button to continue. And an extra 50% of customers made it from that stage to the next stage of the checkout by making that change. Now, in their world, that is one hell of a lot of money. But in anybody's currency, wherever you are, no matter how many sales you're doing online, that's a huge uplift. Some of you might not know this, but customers who are self-service, people who know what they want, tend to very often start their journey in the search box. You know, the search box on the top right-hand corner? That's where I normally straight in there because I think I know what I'm looking for. Customers that start that way, rather than general browsing of the site, they convert it up to 5 times the level of someone who's just gone through a normal browsing journey. So that's pretty significant. So if you have a conversion rate of 2%, customers who use the search box are likely to convert closer to 10%. I'm now going to show you a short video that demonstrates why and search functions are essentially largely ineffective on the vast majority of retailer sites. Again, from my friends at Google.
Hello, just after semi-skimmed milk.
Your search for semi-skim milk returned 0 results.
You don't sell milk?
Your search for milk returned 52,256 results. Your top hit, milk of magnesia.
No.
Milk floats of yesteryear.
No.
This milk-themed family wall planner.
No, sorry, I'm just looking for, normal milk.
Couldn't find what you were looking for.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't find it, so I'm asking you if you could...
Advanced search.
All right, let's do this. Keyword, now, go.
Yeah, okay. Milk.
Please narrow your search by using one of the following filters. Kayaks, packet 12, self-cleaning, breakfast and condiment.
That one. Breakfast.
1 result.
Milk, skimmed semi.
Semi-skimmed milk. That's what I first asked you for.
It's milk skimmed semi.
So slightly more subtle than the checkout video, but I think it gives you a pretty good idea of some of the challenges. So recently I've been talking to a business in Holland called Hunkemoller, who are a very large lingerie business. And I did a search for bras. And first of all, I tried searching in English, being a little bit unclear about, whether or not it would recognize that. Anyway, as you can tell, largely speaking, the results were erroneous because I got 3 knickers for $12.99, which is not really what I was after. I was actually after bras. I got sort of not boxer shorts, whatever you call, I can't even think what you call them. Pants. Let's just call them pants. And then I worked out, well, in Holland, they actually, BH is the abbreviation for bras, so I tried that. And again, I got a different variation, but I didn't get a relevant return for my search. So, and you can see this on almost every single website that I can think of where search is largely ineffective. The next key success factor is availability. So if you're going to put something up on a website, you need to let somebody buy it. You need to have stock of it. Again, it probably does feel like I'm picking on Paul Smith, but I do find them an easy target. So I look for a nice pair of driving gloves because it's really not that warm at this time in the UK. And small out of stock, medium out of stock, but I can select a pair of large. Why not let me place a back order? Why not let me say, well, look, tell me, I'll give you my email address and tell me when the medium or the small comes back into stock. That way you still capture my demand. But instead, they're just putting products on there, no availability. Chances are I'm going to leave that site, I'm going to go and find those somewhere else, possibly the same gloves, but probably through a retailer rather than directly from them. The next key success factor is about de-risking buying online. So I've already touched on some of the risks that go through customers' heads when they're buying online, about what happens if I'm not in, what happens around how do I return my goods. So those retailers doing well know how to de-risk. Zappos. Anybody know Zappos? Largest online footwear business in the world, bought by Amazon about 18 months ago. Turning over $1.5 billion or thereabouts. Small business. So, selling shoes online is not an easy thing to do, because if you don't know your size, which most of us don't, well, we know our size, but if we don't know if something's going to fit us, and lots of shoe brands have different types of fit. Some are narrower, some are broader. So how do you buy them with confidence? Well, if we walk across the masthead of the Zappos website, first of all, Zappos.com powered by service, 24/7 customer service and a free phone number, live chat if I need to talk to someone, order before 1 o'clock for free next day shipping. But it's these two things here. I can order and they will not charge me to deliver, and they will not charge me to return. And I can return anytime within a year. Now that is de-risking, taking away all the reasons why people might not buy. Now you might go, oh, a year. You know, the reality is if people are going to return their shoes, they're going to do it pretty quickly, right? People have bought shoes for a reason, because they want to wear them. So if they don't fit or they don't like them, they're probably going to return them pretty quickly. But telling them that they can do it any time within a year gives them peace of mind. And telling them that you will pick them up and you won't charge for that, you know, for them returning their goods, again, gives them peace of mind. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a customer value proposition. So what is your value proposition? And most retailers have it tucked away below the fold or hidden away somewhere, or just don't even tell customers what theirs is. So this is Ted's Cameras in Australia. And if you look down the right-hand side here, why buy from Ted's? Well, because we've got 24 stores nationally. We're multi-channel, and we've got heritage. We've been around a while. 100% Australian stock. Took me a while to work out what that meant, because I thought, well, you're selling Canon cameras, and the last time I checked, they're not Australian. But I think it means that they're buying all the goods directly. They're not buying them from the grey market. They have a Ted's price promise. Then there's a load of messaging around customer assistance, helpful and expert staff, phone, email or live chat, online help Monday to Friday and the hours that they're open, peace of mind, 14-day exchange, free return shipping or return in store. There you go. Great value proposition, telling you all about why you should buy from them, and again, unblocking some of the reasons why you might not buy from them online. I've got one slide on engagement. If you want to know how to engage customers, have a look at ModCloth. ModCloth is an American pure play business, pure play internet-only business that sells women's vintage fashion. Started by a young lady who is now only 28 years of age. Started a business 10 years ago, doing many millions of dollars. And the thing that I love about it is they've got this function here called Be the Buyer. And what she does is, rather than just putting all her products onto the site and saying, here's my range of products, you choose what you want to buy, she's actually putting some of the products up there to the customer and saying, before I go and manufacture this, tell me what you like about it, tell me what you don't, what would you do to change it? You know, and they get them to vote and they get them involved in the product development process. How's that for engagement? Actually using your customers to help you tell you how to improve your products. And of course, customers that have, products that have been through that process convert at 2.5 times the level of products that they've just put up on sale on the site. So a 250% uplift in conversion because they've engaged customers throughout that journey. The next key success factor is about personalization and dynamic merchandising. Being relevant and personal online has never been more important. So you've got a bunch of smart arses like me going around the world talking to people about usability and how to have best practice usability. We're kind of hurtling towards what I would call vanilla experiences online. If you look at a lot of the sites in the UK now, a lot of them look quite similar. The search box is in the same place. The faceted navigation looks very similar. The placeholders are all very similar. So how do you differentiate? And it has to be through personalization. But what is personalization and dynamic merchandising? I hear you ask. Let's turn back the clock. I don't know if you ever had or have stores that look like this in Greece, but this is a local hardware store that still looks a bit like this where I live in North London. Not sure what this scary guy's doing at the back here, but this is the chap that owns it and his doggy. Now, I guarantee you, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if I walked into that, in fact, as I walk into that store today, they know what I buy. They don't have a customer database. He just knows. He's got a personal relationship with all of his customers. He knows that I'm buying light bulbs, and he cross or upsells me some batteries or something else at that particular time. When your granny walked into her local fashion boutique, if that's what you could call this loosely speaking, in the 1970s, you know, these ladies here knew that your granny was after her winter tights. Well, in Greece, she probably doesn't need winter tights. In London or Glasgow, she certainly does. So winter tights. And she would sell her a scarf, gloves, and a hat because she knew she lost them every winter. So it was a great opportunity to upsell her onto more products. The job of key landing pages on a website is really just to try and correlate, bring together the experience of offline buying and online buying. Now, that's a window in a store, that could be in a shopping centre, could be on a high street, could be pretty much anywhere. So walking by that, when you go into the homepage of a website, isn't that the same experience as walking by a shop window? Isn't it largely the same thing that you're doing? I think it is. So what's the objective of the homepage? It's the same as a shop window. You want to engage with your customers and you want to entice them into your shop. You want them to come in. So what are the tactical things that you can do to deliver that? Well, for new visitors, you can have hot selling products. Here's all the things that other people like you are buying to get me excited. Or most popular, because I'm influenced by what other people like me buy. Promotions. We've all got price-driven and price-sensitive customers. For returning visitors, maybe show me the things I've looked at previously. What did I look? I was on your site last week. What did I look at again? Can you show me them again, please? What new products have you got? Because when I was on last week, I didn't see anything I really liked. So what's new in this week that might, take my fancy? I'm going to show you an example, not from retail per se, but from travel, which I think does a great job of doing this. This is lastminute.com. I don't know if any of you know them. And they do more than travel. You can book theatre, trips, and everything last minute. But what I really like about this, they've curated this page to basically serve up relevant content to different types of customers, whether they're new customers, existing customers, or different segments of customers. So here's a very strong price-driven message. Last second holiday deals, save up to 30%. Or for customers that really only want to go long haul, top long haul offers, top skiing offers. Whose phone's that? Because if you don't switch it off, it's going in that glass of water. I should have warned you right at the beginning. That's the Billy Connolly trick that I forgot about. Across here, all-inclusive. So some people just want to go all-inclusive holidays, right? I want to go to Turkey, I want to go or to Crete, I want to go on an all-inclusive holiday. Just show me the all-inclusive holidays. Don't bother with all the rest. That's all I want to see. I'm posh, I only want to go 5-star. Don't show me 3-star, don't show me 4-star. I only want to see 5-star holidays and hotels. Or show me the most popular holidays or the top destinations that people like me go to. So they are curating all the different options to make it relevant for different types and segments of customer. Dynamic merchandising and personalization solutions can help to drive a lot of those experiences. So just to show you very quickly, this is a little model of how this works. So you can take real-time behavior, which is the current session behavior. So what is the customer doing on the site at that moment in time? What have they looked at product-wise, content-wise? What time of the day are they on the site? You can take historical data. So what has the customer looked at previously? What have they browsed? What did they buy before? What are any preferences that they've told us that they have for what they like and don't like? And then you've got the product catalog. And all of that is basically fed through a bunch of algorithms to basically deliver via merchandising rules down here, best practice business drivers and algorithms, the right products and the right content onto the right channel. So I'm just going to show you a few examples of that now. This is the homepage of Staples. And if you look carefully here, you'll see here that it says this week's special offers. But as I browse the site, it changes to you recently viewed. Now that's quite clever. So that's a bit like a sales assistant following me around the store saying, hey, don't forget about this. You just tried on that suit, or you just looked at that new iPad, just in case you forgot. So that's really doing the same job. You've then got combined strategies that maximize the opportunity. So if you look at the bottom here, You've basically got top sellers, new arrivals, and top-rated products. Switch your phones off. It's the second phone I've heard. I promise you, the next one I hear going off, I'm coming out to find it. You've been warned. Right. So, top sellers, well, you know, again, different types of customers are influenced by top-selling products. You know, what do people like me buy? What are the things, you know, I want to know if I'm going to look good in this. I might be buying, you know, an outdoor jacket to go hill walking, but I want to know that people are going to think, you know, I look pretty good in this. So top sellers and what other people really like and how they've rated it is another way of driving that. So new arrivals, if I think of myself as an early adopter. So I don't like to wear what everyone else wears. I feel uncomfortable when I turn up somewhere and I'm wearing something that 10 other people are wearing. So I like to buy unique things. So new arrivals, I think if I can get in there first, at least I'll be unique for a while. And then, of course, top rated as well, which is, again, a little bit like top sellers, but it gives people the confidence because other people like them have given something a very high rating. So you can do all of that with this type of technology. On the product detail page, let's imagine I was shopping for that blouse and I thought, well, you know what, turquoise isn't really my colour, so I'm going to look for something else. Here are some options that the retailer is offering me down the right-hand side. Rather than having to go to another product page, I can hover over one of them. It gives me the information, tells me how much it is, tells me there's a discount, and I can quick shop. And I can basically just go and buy it and not even bother going to the product page. And then, with the likes of the Home Depot, when you get to the shopping cart, this technology is also enabling them to basically upsell and cross-sell when the customer gets there. So the first message is, add items to your cart to get free shipping. Great. Spending $109 on this chandelier, why not buy something else? I'm not sure about the relevance of the options, but I think they could maybe offer me something a bit more relevant. And then there are other related items. But again, they're taking advantage. It's a bit like, I don't know who does it well in Greece. One of the best retailers that tends to do this in the UK is somebody like W.H. Smith. I'm sure you know them. W.H. Smith, you walk in there, and before you get to the till, you're taken down a little aisle, and as you walk down that aisle, and you're enclosed now. You can't go back because there's people behind you, and you can't go out because there's a side, and on the sides, there's other products. And that's them basically doing the same job as what this is doing here. It's saying, here's some other things you might have forgotten about to get some more money out of me. One massive weakness across the board is the lack of segmented and personalized emails. I don't know about you, but I get really pissed off when I bother signing up with a retailer, especially when I've bought from someone, and they don't take the trouble to send me a relevant communication based on what I buy. Classic example again, sorry John Lewis, but this is a few weeks ago. So this is the 5th of April. Your new season workwear, really? So unless they know something I don't, and I'm going to become a transvestite or a cross-dresser sometime soon, or already am, which I'm not, then why are they sending me an email trying to sell me women's workwear? Do me a favour. The next key success factor is about guarantees and calls to action. So, scarcity always drives an increase in conversion. Tell people you don't have many available. Tell them there's limited stock. See here, hurry, there's only 3 left. Oh, I really want this pram. It's £279 and I've got a new baby and oh wow, and it looks great, and if I don't buy it in 5 minutes it'll be gone. I think the travel companies do a great job of that. You know, when you go into like booking.com and you're going to book a hotel and they tell you how many rooms are left. But I don't think retailers do as good a job as they might do. And also here, which is part of their value proposition, the Kiddie Care Promise, 365-day returns, free delivery over £30, lowest prices guaranteed, you know, and that's on the product page, right? It's not hidden away, it's like there at every step. The next key success factor is about visual merchandising. If I can't see something properly, why would you expect me to buy it? I will apologise to the ladies in the audience, possibly not the men. I'm using quite a lot of lingerie examples today. It's not for any other reason than actually there's quite a good examples of how visual merchandising can be really ineffective. Believe it or not, that was a client of ours, Mila, when we first started working with them. We're not working with them now, but when we first started working with them, that, I promise you, was a product shot on the website for a pair of pants. I would imagine the conversion rate on that was probably 0. Now for something truly titillating, excuse the expression. So, this was Mila's old model selection. Now, I'm pretty confident, this is before we worked with them, I'm pretty confident you would look at those models, and I don't know about you, but for me, she looks almost anorexic. She looks very thin, and if you compare it to other players in the space like Agent Provocateur, Boo Avenue, Marks and Spencer. I can see you walking out. He's walking out. Don't come back. I'm going to single him out when he comes back in a minute. You know, very healthy, voluptuous, olive-skinned, you know, different shape, much more appealing, you know, sexier, just, you know, really ticks all the boxes. Mila's recent model selection, so we're not working with them at the moment, but I thought I'll go and have another look. Sorry. This is what we changed it to when we were working with them. And although the models aren't, you know, they're not world class, but they're pretty good. They're voluptuous, they've got colour, they're a better shape. Conversion increased by 20% plus as a result of changing from, you know, models that really went fit for purpose to what we had there. I had a look this morning, and I've realised they've now taken off all of the models and taken off the heads, basically. Really? Knock knees? Sorry. I think they could have done a better job of promoting that particular baby doll slip, or whatever it's called. Now, you'll be wanting to know what's the difference between models or shooting flat or using mannequins. And in all the fashion businesses I work for, the amount of fights that I used to have with people about this, because, you know, you have what we call, you know, the hippo, the highest paid person's opinion, or just a subjective bun fight about whether you should use a model or you shouldn't use a model. So I'm going to give you some statistics, which are from my experience. In my experience, model shots sell-through in women's wear is between 5 and 20% better than using basically just a flat shot of something without a model or using a mannequin. But it varies by product type. Dresses, trousers, jeans convert the best. Skirts, tailoring, coats, and underwear as well. They all benefit from the use of model shots. It increases sales, but it also decreases returns. Because if you've got a better idea of how something fits, if you're using a model and you can say to the customer in the description, the model shown is 6 foot tall, is a certain shape and size and everything else, then the consumer can get a pretty good idea of whether that's going to be a good fit for her or him. In men's, overall, flats and mannequins perform better, bearing in mind that lots of women are buying for men, probably don't like to see other men in the clothes that they're buying for their man, and other men don't particularly like to see other men in clothes that they're thinking of buying. But that doesn't work on jeans, trousers, and underwear. So jeans, trousers, and underwear work better when they're shot on a model, and I'll show you some examples of that in a minute. In terms of return on investment, to use models, you've got to think about also using makeup, hair, and a stylist, so you have on costs, and it tends to add 30 to 40% more to a model shoot. However, you have the uplift in conversion to counterbalance that. This is a client of ours, Thomas Pink, a few years ago, who we are still working with. And if you look across these boxer shorts here, I think it's pretty fair to say that without the use of a model, you really don't know, up here, are these really half the size of the ones next to them? Probably not, but it's the way they've been shot. And if you look at ASOS used the same model. The cropping of the image is in the same place, the belly buttons are all aligned, and that way you can absolutely see exactly what the shape and fit is of all the different products. Jeans, Austin Reed, £55, not that expensive, but I have no idea. Are those boot cut? Are they skinny? What are they? Don't know. Over here, £4 jeans from Georgia Asda, probably been made in Bangladesh. To sell, well, they must be to be able to sell them at that price. But anyway, that aside, £4 jeans. But because they use a model, I can see exactly what the fit of those jeans is. And I can make a sensible decision about whether I'm going to buy them or not. Net-a-Porter, some of you will know, high-end, premium luxury e-tailer of women's products, bless you. Luxury goods and accessories and fashion. So on the left-hand side, £1,500 dresses. So they look the same length, but then when you roll over them, they're very different. And that's important because women who are buying dresses might be buying a dress for work, And in some work environments, a dress above the knee is not the right thing. So if you want to know about the size, you have to be able to show somebody where that dress starts and finishes. Image size is also important. So online visual merchandising has to convey the product detail. If you're in a store and you walk in and you pick up a box that's got a toaster in it, you can read all the information. You can even open it up, take the toaster out, or if you're buying fashion, you can try something on, or you can talk to the sales assistant and they can tell you about all the features and benefits of what you're buying. So you need the website to do the same thing, and the image size is really important. So this is a retailer, an online retailer in Australia, and when I looked at this, my first question was, how big are these toasters? You know, we don't all have 20 square metre or however many metre kitchens. Some of us have got a small workspace. A lot of you probably live in flats in and around Athens, have relatively small kitchens. You know, that's a decision about whether you buy one of these or not, if you don't know how big it is. So that was the first thing I thought. So then I thought, well, I quite like the look of this Breville toaster, even although it looks more like a radio than a toaster. And it says it's a 4-slice toaster. How do I know it's a 4-slice toaster? I can't see that it takes 4 slices. And I've no idea how deep it is either. I can see the breadth of it, but I can't see the depth of it. So really, all the time, these are creating issues for me that might stop me from buying. However, unlike lots of things in life, size isn't always everything. Lighting and styling is also hugely important. This is an Australian department store called Myer. And this was a basque bird's eye pleat back skirt. And I promise you that even though you probably can't see it that well, you can't see it that well, whether you're on the website or whether you're standing here. And even when you zoom, you still can't see it that well. I can't see the pleats. I can't see any of the product detail. Why would I buy it? Right, internationalization. So, this is a map of the world as it used to look. You probably know, you're one of the few countries that us Brits, we didn't conquer over the years, I don't think. I think you had Alexander the Great, or maybe I've got the wrong country, but you know, you had your own conquerors. But at one point in the world, Britain actually ruled all of those countries, and all those countries are now part of the Commonwealth. Quite amazing, isn't it? Now, we're actually going through another conquering of the world, and you need to watch what you're doing, because British retailers are, at the moment, online retailing in the UK is the #1 online market in the world in terms of the spend per capita and the percentage of total retail sales that it accounts for. And British retailers are now taking what they do well and coming into your market to take business away from your customers. So I'm giving you as a bit of a warning. However, we don't always get it right. So when we colonize, we don't always do it very well. I'm going to show you a short, amusing video about a rather large retailer in the UK who hasn't been doing such a good job of internationalization.
Changes in the way we shopped. All electronic equipment was given away free with newspapers, while everything else was bought at Tesco's.
Now, I was mentioning Tesco earlier on because Tesco are always in the news these days.
By 2012, Tesco's had a superstore in every square mile in Britain.
Tesco were brokering world heavyweight bouts, representing entertainment stars. They were making most of the films that were being made. Tesco's slogan changed from every little helps to we control every aspect of your lives.
Soon Tesco's got planning permission to build anywhere in the country, even on the side of a cliff. By then, Britain was fully saturated with Tesco's, and the supermarket chain concluded it would have to look elsewhere for domination.
And then there was the war with Denmark. It started, of course, because Tesco needed room to expand. For a long time they'd yearned to create a superstate which was, well, the first retail country.
At noon on January the 21st, 2013, Tesco's invaded Denmark with 200 superstores and 1,500 Tesco Expresses.
The Tesco thing was a shock, because I quite like the Danes.
That's not really Prince Harry.
My occasional fucks are Danes.
The Danes are a proud people. They're of Viking stock. What they want is to rape and pillage, to set fire to longships. They don't want to be walking around a supermarket and seeing Nuts magazine at the checkout next to some chewing gum and a hairnet. That's not what the Vikings want.
The war between Tesco's and Denmark lasted just 5 hours. This is all that remains of Copenhagen.
So a little tongue-in-cheek. A very good friend of mine is now the multi-channel director at Tesco, so I think I'm shortly going to be stopping showing that video wherever I am. Right, in a serious note, this is from Retail Week in the UK, which is the leading retail title, September last year. 40% of shoppers in the EU now use the internet to buy goods and services. Way hey. And within the next 5 years, cross-border trade is expected to account for 20% of all e-commerce. Just going to talk quickly through what's happening now in terms of the strategies. Some retailers do nothing. They don't even switch on the buy button. So lots of retailers at the moment in the UK don't even let customers buy from them. Some standardise where they switch on the buy button, but they don't localise anything, and I'll show you what that means. Some adapt, where they localise maybe the currency to euros, for example. Some localise fully. There's now multi-channel market entries. Some are leading with a website and then saying, I'm going to build a website, I'm going to see how much demand I get, and then I'm going to enter the market. So you will probably see some retailers over the coming years, especially as things stabilise over here, you know, they'll start a website selling to the local market, and eventually they might even open up some stores. Some are leading with the stores and then going online. Harvey Nichols, high-end premium department store in the UK. You can go and fight for Queen and Country, but you can't order anything or have it shipped to you if you're in the British Forces, nor if you live anywhere else in the world, for that matter. No idea why not. Debenhams, they've switched on the buy button, but if you look at the proposition, I live in Australia, £14 delivery charge, 10 to 14 days delivery time, or I live in France and Germany, £7 charge for delivery and 5 to 6 days delivery proposition. Well, that's not very immediate, and it's not very convenient or very compelling. Alfred Dunhill, I got excited. Look, Germany, great, I'll select Germany. But then when I get there, well, hang on a minute, the site's still in English. And only when I go down a level I see that they've changed the currency to euros. That's not great, it's a bit half-hearted. Then there's the Full Monty. Everyone know the Full Monty? Yeah? Yeah? Excellent. Sorry, I'm just a bit hot. So, the Full Monty. Clark's. I'm sure most of you know them. In the UK, they're a retailer. In mainland Europe, they're more of a wholesaler, although they do have some of their own stores. And they've localised everything. So, they've localised language, they've localised customer service, they've localised payment types. They know that the Germans don't like to use credit cards, they use bank transfer and direct debit. They've localised customer service. So you can phone up and talk to someone in Italian, Spanish, German, French, etc. A foreign national, not an English person that happens to speak a bit of pidgin French, which is not the same thing. So, we do, as British, feel that the world speaks English, so we come to your country and think that you should speak English rather than us speaking Greek. Unfortunately, I don't speak Greek, but if I come back anymore, I'm going to try. I'm going to shortly, I mean, if I was a German customer and I landed on that website, I might well be asking myself, wie viel kostet das? How much does that cost? Because I don't understand that currency there, I don't speak English, I don't know what the selling points and benefits are, and therefore I may not buy. And we also know that the French and the Germans are two of the most nationalistic countries and people in the world, and if you don't talk to them in their language, the chances are you ain't going to get their business. I'm going to show you a short video now that demonstrates what the challenges are around that. So if we wouldn't mind playing the video. You might have seen this, but I think you'll find it quite amusing.
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
Now, I showed that in Berlin last October, and believe me, I really worried about the reaction, but they actually can laugh at themselves, so they took it very well. And this is some research that I picked up of the propensity of European different customers in different markets and their propensity to buy online from websites in other countries. Not surprising, the Germans, the French, Italians and Spanish have the lowest propensity. The Dutch, the Brits and the Swedes, no problem, will buy online from another country's website. River Island, fashion retailer, you might know, they're about £1 billion turnover. They're going into Australia. They started localizing some aspects of the website and they're now opening stores. Lululemon, North American leisure brand, athleisure brand, they started with stores in Australia and their first localized website was for the Australian market. Is it worth doing? You better believe it. ASOS, 3 jumbo jets a week to Australia. These boys are taking between £1.25 and £1.5 million a week in sales from Australia. So, now, I know you've not always been the best of friends. I don't mean to be controversial. I mentioned it first thing. Half of the population of Turkey is under 30. They like fashion. They've got disposable income. They're early adopters. They'll buy online. They'll buy through mobile. I would be really looking at Turkey as your neighbour as an opportunity if you're not already selling there, particularly in fashion. Are you a social or anti-social brand? I'm not going to labour on this. I'm just going to say it very briefly. If you have a look at Net-a-Porter, one thing they do which is quite clever, if you go onto the website and go netaporter.com/live, they show you what customers are buying from different parts of the world. That's what I call social proof. Other people like me have just added these skinny jeans to their bag. Great idea, I'm going to buy them. So that's just another sales driver, and they get a lot of engagement through that. Mobile has changed everything. Anyone that tells you that mobile is a game changer is already late. It has already changed the game. I'm not sure exactly where it's at in the market here, but certainly in the UK, the US, most other markets that I know, it has absolutely redefined how customers engage with a brand. Shoe, don't know if any of you know them. They're a multi-channel retailer in the UK. They turn over about £40 million online. Not bad. And by the end of this year, more than 50% of all of their online sales will be through mobile, either a smartphone or a tablet. That's pretty phenomenal. I went to see them in February last year. It was 12%. So that's the rate of change within a brand like that that's selling to a slightly younger consumer. Short video now from PayPal about just the changes in behaviour that are being driven by mobile.
Millions of people can now live, shop, and buy anytime, anywhere, anyway. Because they have PayPal. It's innovation you can use and share with friends today, no matter where you are. Innovation that finds exactly what you're looking for. It's putting advantages at your fingertips. And it's your money moving with you, listening to you, following your lead. It's arming you with the power of information, rewarding you in a meaningful way, and saving you time when it really counts. It's feeding the need for a whole new kind of convenience. and it's letting you decide how to pay, long after you've checked out. So if you have PayPal, you have it good.
That video was great up until the point she said, if you have PayPal, you have it good. Anyway, there is a starting point. This is Mulberry. So Mulberry, rather than serving me up with a mobile compatible version of their website, have gone to the trouble of creating an app. Well, that's very kind of them, but I really can't be bothered downloading that app. I'm not going to buy too many Mulberry bags in my lifetime, so why would I engage with Mulberry through an app, any more than once? So instead of doing the thing they should have done and given me a mobile compatible website, responsively designed, that meant that I could buy, via my mobile, they've gone to the expense of developing an app. So that's me taking you through a journey of kind of where are we, and kind of what's best practice at the minute, where have we been and where are we going. I'm now going to talk about where do I really think things are going. Final bit from me, short video, really nice video about how screens are changing our life. And if you remember Tom Cruise in the Minority Report, which was about, I think, probably about 12 or 13 years ago, early noughties, 2002 or something. I remember watching that thinking, as he was moving things around, thinking, that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. And it is. It's happening already. So if you look at this video, it's going to show you exactly how things are changing. And I think you'll realise when you think about the Minority Report and you think about smartphones and how far smartphones have come in just 6 years or 7 years since Apple launched their first smartphone, how things have changed. It's a really nice video. This is where we're going. We're going anything, anywhere, anytime. And if you don't deliver that as an experience to your customers, someone else will. I can't imagine these bus shelters lasting too long in Glasgow, by the way. Coming to a house, a car, bathroom, a kitchen near you sometime soon. You know, who would have imagined any of that would have happened when you watched Minority Report? You would have said no. Do you believe all that's going to happen now? I'm pretty sure most of you would say yes, and I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. 2020 at the latest, I think you'll see all of that in real life. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, my name is definitely Martin Newman, and if you haven't, it's Paris Cornelius. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much. Do you think we could have one or two questions from the audience?
Of course, sure.
Because we're running late.
Yeah,
we could
my
have
fault.
more, but
My fault.
No problem. Λοιπόν, να ακούσουμε ερωτήσεις. Έχουμε ερωτήσεις ή μας κάλυψε πλήρως? Μία ερώτηση από εκεί στο βάθος. Οκ. Ανοίξουμε.
Okay. My name is Kostis. Thank you very, very much for the insightful and educative presentation. Very nice food for thought. I have the privilege to say that we're following every single key success factor that you described, but the problem is something that I missed from the presentation.
Yes.
The word communication and marketing. Because it's nice to have in-store touchscreens, it's nice to have social media campaigns, it's nice to have a 5-step online buying and everything, availability, everything that you said. But if you don't educate the people to come to your store and buy, it's a very, very big thing. They're not educated enough, and I think that in Greece we still have a lot of time to catch up. And what are your thoughts on this? How can somebody not spend too much money to educate the people?
Well, really, you'll have to engage me to tell you the answer to that. All joking aside, I mean that's why. I mean, marketing is you're right, but marketing is a pretty big subject matter. To be honest with you, I mean, social media is a great way to seed word about what you're doing. I think a lot of brands don't do a very good job in social media, but social media needs to be a two-way dialogue, and my advice for anyone that's doing anything on social media is to do what I call pull marketing and not push marketing. Anyone that tries to shove promotions and incentives down their customers' throats tends not to work that well. If you want to look at a brand that's done a great job of this in recent years, is Burberry. You know, they've got the Art of the Trench, where people post pictures of them from all over the world wearing a Burberry trench coat. They launched a new fragrance about 2 years ago called The Body. And rather than offering customers an incentive to get a discount, they just said, give us your name and address, and we will send you a free sample. And within 2 weeks, 250,000 people said, here's their name and address, I'd like a sample. So I think there are lots of things that you can do on social media that are content-driven and service-driven to add value to your customers that you can also use to educate them. I think that, again, I probably don't have a good enough handle on your business. Well, I don't know what your business is, specifically in relation to the level of adoption of your customers. But I think that you don't necessarily have to push everything to the web. Have you got a store business as well?
17 stores, multi-channel retailing for 25 years. So
you have a catalogue?
Yes, as well, and television as well.
So you've already got, so for example, you've got a catalogue, right? Your catalogue, I'm assuming people buy off the page from the catalogue.
Yes.
So they send in an order or they phone up a call centre or something.
Also call center 24/7.
Yeah. So how about...
An education tool.
Sorry?
Maybe in the education
Yeah.
tool, this catalog. Yeah.
Well, exactly, but my point is, why don't you add a QR code? Add a QR.
We have.
You've done that already. Well, he's done everything.
So
I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to tell you that you haven't already done, but maybe we have a what's that? Maybe we have a conversation later about marketing, because marketing is a pretty broad
The problem also is something that is affecting a lot of in Greece. As you said, Zappos, what company was the one that is selling to Australia? With
ASOS.
ASOS, yes.
Yeah.
In Greece, we have a lot of problems with the expenses sending from in Greece and also outside, so we're not competitive in the European market, although we have good products and very good retailing.
So what ASOS did is ASOS had almost all their business in the UK, and they took a strategic decision to basically offer free shipping worldwide.
We do that as well, free shipping after 60 euros, but still, we're not competitive.
Well, okay, well again,
how can Greece improve in that?
That's a conversation we'd have to have. If you're doing all these things and you're not competitive, it sounds like you don't have a lot of engagement with your customers. It could be the price that you're selling at. It could be that your range of products isn't maybe as attractive as it might be. I don't know. There are lots of different factors. I think there isn't a bullet. There isn't a silver bullet. There's all the things that you're already doing, which I presented today, and you've added on to that quite rightly. Marketing communication. It's about it's the old marketing mix. It's having the right product sold through the right channel, which is the place, at the right price. The same factors are still relevant with good marketing, good promotional activity behind it. And I think if you're able to join your channels together, and if you're able to, probably the one thing, I don't know if do you have a single view of your customer? So
Yes.
you've got all that. So you've got a database, and you've got CRM, so he's got everything. It's amazing. So I'm definitely going to come and have a chat with you. Do you fancy a job? You fancy setting up the practicology office in Greece?
Yes, probably.
Could be an interesting conversation.
I'm sure you may have a personal tuition after that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Νομίζω ότι δεν θα έχουμε χρόνο για περισσότερο. I'm afraid we don't have time, much more time. But
I'm around for most of the day.
You'll meet most of them afterwards.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.